Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? This is Diggy546 and this is like take 6 of me making this video. So let's get straight to it. I don't want to waste time. The Giants are finally coming off of a win for the first time of 2025. I think this is our first one of 2025. So this is the first pregame where we're actually coming off of a win. So there's excitement. There's actually belief that we can go out and win a football game. So that's all exciting. And I just want to go ahead and start off with the Saints, looking at this team just from top to bottom. So you start off with Spencer Rattler. He is coming into this game basically being an efficient quarterback for the most part. He's just over 200 yards passing per game. He's coming in at 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, so pretty solid. He's had a 3-touchdown game against the 49ers. Again, only 1 interception. He had turnover problems last year. He's had turnover problems in college. So this is him kind of turning the corner, and 5-1 to start in 4 games isn't that bad. He's also completing 67% of his passes. He's had, I think, 2 games now over 70%. So even though they haven't won any games, he has not been bad. You know, he hasn't had a stinker where he's like had 3-4 interceptions and it's, you know, he's terrible. So Spencer Rattler's playing pretty well. Then you have those 2 running backs in the backfield, and they are concerning. And when I get into specifically how I expect this game to play out and how I expect players and on each team to interact with each other, the running backs are key. The running backs are absolutely key with Miller and Kamara. Those 2 backs are very difficult to bring down. Miller has 12. Kendre Miller has 12 missed tackles on 28 carries, which is the 43% missed tackle rate, which is best in the league. Better than Scatterbo, better than all these other guys. He's best in the league as far as missed tackle percentage. So this guy is not playing any games. He's not going down easy. And the Saints offensive line, even when they don't give those 2 backs much time, they're constantly getting a lot of yards after contact, which is a kryptonite for this Giants defense, because the Giants defense has missed 29 tackles in 4 games. So what is that? You do some math, quick math here. That's like 5 or 6 tackles a game, like 5 tackles a game, almost 6. So that's not very good. You don't want to miss 5 tackles. That'll keep a drive extended for 5 or 6 times a game. And we've pretty much seen that. So the Giants have been getting a little bit better at that. But you look last week, Omarion Hampton is, carrying 2 or 3 people 18 yards. So that has got to be cleaned up, because these 2 backs can do the exact same thing. Of course, you got Olave there at receiver. He's going to be the standout there. And I think he's going to pretty much be followed by Debo. I think they'll probably play it straight up, to be honest, because Olave is a good receiver, but I don't think he's like transcendent. And I think the Giants, if they're not playing against a transcendent receiver, they're going to play it straight up. And I feel pretty confident that we won't get shredded, like absolutely torn apart. But, Olave could also make a couple plays. You never know. Yeah, and then they also have Juwan Johnson, a decent tight end, can make some plays. And he's on the injury report, so we'll see if he plays. You also have Penning on the injury report. A lot of guys are banged up there, so they're going to be coming into this game banged up. But they will be coming into this game missing Chase Young, and they'll be missing Cesar Ruiz. So we will have an advantage there. Now, I think Granderson and Cam Jordan is a nice duo of pass rushers, but I'm not really scared about the edges. I don't see an edge player wrecking a game, even if those guys win and he holds onto the ball, Dart holds onto the ball for forever, because last week, that edge didn't really wreck the game. Like, he got 4 sacks, but they weren't really eventful sacks. They were mostly Jaxson Dart just holding the ball too long and being a rookie and not getting rid of it. And like some of those sacks happened after like 4 or 5 seconds. So I'm not really concerned about those things wrecking the game, because they didn't really wreck it last week. And we let a guy get 4 sacks because, it is what it is when you hold the ball that long. As far as the Giants go, I'm expecting us to get Chauncey Golston and Raheem Nunez-Roches back. I'm not really seeing much difference in the defensive tackles. I would probably say he might be better than the rest of the guys we have, but none of them I really have any faith in as far as stopping the run, and it just is what it is there. But Chauncey Golston should hopefully be an upgrade at edge in the run, even though he hasn't really played the run well and kept contained well this year. But overall, this Saints defense is, I would say they have been struggling. They're 31st in the NFL in points allowed. They've averaged 30 points a game given up. The Giants are averaging 25th in points given up. Or the Giants are they're giving up 25 points per game. And the Saints are giving up 30. So both of these teams are giving up too many points, but the Saints are giving up way too many points. They're only behind the Dallas Cowboys, who aren't really even out there. The Dallas Cowboys don't even really have anybody playing defense. It's a mirage. So that is what we're looking at as far as the roster of the Saints. Now, how specifically can this roster be attacked? And I'm going to start off on the offense. Spencer Rattler is a guy that I think is getting comfortable. I saw him against the Bills this past week, and he played very confident. He threw a lot of quick passes, made some quick decisions. He wasn't necessarily under a ton of pressure, but made some nice decisions. Threw the ball short a ton. Again, that's how you have that high completion percentage. And he also took off and ran a little. He can pick up a first down if you leave the middle of the field wide open, because the Giants love to play man defense, especially on third down. If you leave that middle of the field wide open, he will take advantage of it, and he's not a slow guy by any stretch of the matter. He's probably a touch slower than Dart, and Dart, is a pretty fast quarterback. Both of those guys, if you leave the middle of the field open, they will make you pay. So you have to pay attention to Spencer Rattler. You cannot just abandon that, because he will make you pay there, and him running the ball along with those two running backs can be a disaster. Again, now I want to talk about the running backs. So Kendre Miller and Alvin Kamara I've already told you what their stats were as far as missed tackles, and they are not playing any games. I mean, the Saints game plan should be coming in and establishing the run and running the ball from the start of the game to the finish. They should run the ball until we stop it. There should not be any run to set up a play action. There should not be any run to set anything up but more running. I would not stop running. Again, if I'm successful at it early, if I'm running the whole drive, the first drive, and I score, I'm doing it until I don't score. And then even then, if I'm having some successful runs, I'm probably not going to abandon it, because there's no reason to abandon the run if it's working. And it should work against the Giants defense. But again, we have coaches in this NFL that are much too smart for their own britches, and they might go away from the run, especially if the Giants come out with Jaxson Dart and put up points. And the Saints are giving up 30 points a game. So the Jaxson Dart should be able to come out and put up some points. He may not get to that 30 mark. He may get to the 25 or maybe 24. But I think if we can get to 24 points, I think we win this game. I don't think there's any shot the Saints will get past that, because I think if they do win this game, it'll be them running the football and kind of controlling it. So I don't think it'll be like a ton of quick hitter runs. I don't think they'll have like 80 yards, 80. I think it'll mostly be like a kind of grinded out thing. So the game will be less scoring, because I don't see them, doing a ton of throwing downfield if they win. So I really think that's how they'll attack us. And, we are vulnerable there. And of course, if they incorporate some play action, there is some chance for us to, get exposed there. We have had issues with tight ends. We've had issues over the middle of the field. And we looked a lot better last week against a much better receiving core that the Chargers have than what the Saints have, from top to bottom. But I'm not going to put it past us to still give that up if we're giving up the run. Now, if they just say we're going to pass and, they get down and they say we're just going to just get to passing straight up, I think we will ruin Spencer Rattler's day. I don't think there's any shot that under this pass rush that has faced Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, and Dak Prescott, this guy's not anywhere near their stratosphere of quarterback. So I just don't see him being able to really function under this type of pressure. I just don't see it. Only the top shelf of guys are going to be able to do that, and that's all we've played. And it seems like that's all we played this year, which is ridiculous. But I just don't see him functioning there. Now, as far as the Saints defense, they're bringing in Cam Jordan, who's just been a terror forever. They're bringing in Granderson. They don't have Chase Young, but those two are doing their job. They're both getting after it. I think Granderson is at like 4.5 sacks, and Brian Burns is at 5. So he's close to the top of the league there. And I'm still not really that scared from pressure coming off the edges. I'm just not. Demario Davis is a good player. He's a guy that, could come away with an interception or do something crazy, make a play. I'm not expecting that to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. And he's a guy that's a sure tackler. And I talked about the Giants, who have 29 missed tackles, which is like 5 or 6 missed tackles a game. Well, guess what? Guess what, folks? The Saints are coming in missing 47 tackles this year. So there goes your game plan for the Giants. Get the ball in open space as much as you can. Run screens, run the ball, run it with Jaxson Dart. These people cannot tackle. 47 missed tackles in 4 games means you're missing almost 10. You're missing more than 10 tackles a game. You're missing more than 10 tackles a game. So that is something that we must exploit. Getting the ball in open field, making them tackle us is important. That's important. So I expect Dart to still kind of be played safe. I expect him to run some RPO stuff, get the ball into people's hands, and hope that they can create after the catch, because this team has had some very, very, very huge problems tackling. So that should be the game plan for the Giants. Now, the Saints, they love to play cover 3. And after that is cover 4. But I think they're going to go heavy cover 3 this game, because why play cover 4 when you're not playing against Malik Neighbors? I expect them to say, we're not playing against Malik Neighbors, so let's play cover 3. Let's play bump and run. Let's knock Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. And they're going to try to knock Darius Slayton off the press, off the line. And I think because of this, there's going to be opportunity for a play action deep shot to Darius Slayton or one of these other guys. But I don't have as much faith in Hyatt, because he just continues to get knocked off of his routes. But I do think there will be an opportunity to hit a deep shot to Slayton or Wan'Dale or somebody downfield, because they love to play that cover 3. And in cover 3, if you play press man and the guy beats you quickly off the snap, you got a safety in the middle of the field, and he's got to pick a side. And if he picks the wrong side, he's going to get dusted. And that's how you can make a big play against a cover 3 defense. So I expect us to attack there. And in the quarters coverage, I expect us to be able to attack the middle of the field, because this defense they're not world beaters. They're coming in at a 22% pressure rate, which is last in the NFL. So they're not pressuring the quarterback. They're okay. They're not that good at stopping the run, but they're fine. And they cannot stop the pass. So because of all of this, I expect us to put up some points. I expect Cam Scatterboo to have a nice game, maybe his biggest game. I expect Dart to have a big game running and throwing the ball. Now, is he going to throw for 300 yards? I don't expect him to do that anytime soon, because I don't think the game plan is going to call for that. But he is going to come out and be successful moving the ball, throwing it. And, again, he would have had like 180, 200 yards if we didn't get some of those penalties called for us as far as pass interference downfield. So I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for this team to come out and stretch their legs. And again, this is a game that the Saints could very well come out and say, we're going to run the football with Kendre Miller and Alvin Kamara, and we're going to control the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if they're able to set that tone and run it early and often, it is going to be difficult to win this game. It just is, because that's our biggest weakness, and that's the strength of their team. They have 2 great running backs, two really good running backs. So hopefully we can come out there and put up points very quickly, which we should be able to. I would take the ball at the start of the game and put up points very quickly. I'm expecting our defense to force at least 1 turnover, because again, Rattler has not dealt with this type of a pass rush. And I really think that we can come out and win this game outright. But again, any Saints fans that are watching and Giants fans who were, always rooting for the Giants to lose or saying that we're going to lose every week with no evidence or anything, there is a shot that the Giants could come out here and get embarrassed at 1:00 on Sunday, because the run game is a huge, huge problem, and that is really their only avenue. And if I was them, again, I would not abandon the run. Down 10 points, down 17 points, I would still run the football. Even if I have to run a hurry-up run offense, I will run the ball. So that's my take on the game. This should be a good game. I expect both teams to come in ready to play. And for Giants fans, it'll either be a blowout, a close game, which is basically what am I talking about? I was going to say a blowout, a close game, or, or we end up losing. But I just think that Giants fans are probably going to leave this game pretty happy because this is a game that we should win. We have a more talented roster, even though we are 1-3 than them, and we should come away with a win. So Saints fans, like if I'm you, I'm wanting to lose because I don't know. Even though I was a huge fan of Tyler Shuck, I don't know if he's going to be your guy since I've seen him in the preseason. So, maybe you go and get Garrett Nussmeier and he's the hometown hero and you all, skate off into the sunset. But enough of that. That is the Saints Giants preview. Can't wait to see it Wednesday. This Sunday at 1 p.m. I will be live streaming and I will be with my immediate reaction right after the game. So you all drop your score predictions. I'm going to say the Giants win this 28-17. I'm going to say we have 2 Jaxson Dart touchdowns through the air, 1 through the ground, and 1 from Scatterboo. So there you go. If not, I could see this being a really heavy Scatterboo game because they can't tackle. So you all drop your score predictions and your predictions for this game down in the comments.